We have learned it over the period of time, not that we had learned overnight. After first project, obviously, we were very excited and a little bit overconfident also. But then slowly, steadily, you definitely get into the groove and you see into the mirror and you realize that okay, it took a lot of toll on everyone because money was flowing, but at the same point of time, it was affecting everybody's health as well.
Hi, I'm your host Utsav Kamboj, and welcome to this episode of the Archea podcast. So, today we are talking to an architect who has 20 plus years of experience in builder homes and show apartments. We get real insights on the budgets, the difference between the mindset of a developer versus a client who's buying homes for themselves, and the challenges that come along the way. I thoroughly enjoyed hosting this podcast and learned so much from him, and I hope you do too.
So some green element next to me balances both.
Wonderful. All right.
Symmetric.
Symmetric. Yeah. Okay. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Hi, guys. This is Utsav Kamboj, your host, and today we have a special guest. This is architect Tushar Mistry. He is the founder of Tushar Mistry Design Studio based out of Mumbai. And today he's going to give us some really interesting insights on his way of working and how he's grown over the years. So, over to you, Tushar. How are you doing today, and what do you have in store for us today?
Hey everyone. She's already introduced me, so I don't need to introduce myself. As I come with the experience of 20 years behind me, dealing into various sectors of interiors and architecture like hospitality, retail, residential, commercial, show apartments, sales lounges, many more, and certain small big things that we keep doing on. So sailing through the whole 20 years was not too easy. It was quite difficult being coming from a very small town, not knowing the accents and language and dialects properly. Very much influenced.
I can relate to that.
I come from Gujarat, so my accent will be very colloquial in terms of and a lot of dominance of Gujarati language on it. Not that that's bad, but if language is spoken correctly, it makes more sense. It's easy to deliver. So yeah, the grooming, the learning, everything went through certain phases of life, and here we are after 20 years doing some decent good job around.
I think you're doing a great job, and we're going to explore that very soon. So, moving forward, I was talking about that you have a versatile practice. You're doing quite a lot of work. But if you had to, let's say, pin on something that this is what we're really good at, what would that be, and how have you evolved on that?
So recently, before 18 months, we started working on the customer experience centers (CCs), and these are for the various developers that we work with. And we started with their customer experience centers and show apartments. It was very new when we were introduced to this particular segment. We took it as a challenge. The first project we had to complete in 30 days.
Wow, 30 days. Okay,
Yeah.
tell me more.
So we were novice, and it was in hangar. Hangar was made by some other agency, and we had to do a show apartment, which was 2 BHK. Introduced by the Guardians, who are real estate advisory, and the project was of one of the developers from Chembur, and project was also from the Chembur. So we completed that in 22 days. So when you don't know what to do, you run more faster than what you are required to. So that's how we completed.
How do you manage those timelines? Because 22 days is a very short span of time.
So it was 24/7 work happening on site. Being a commercial site, there were no restrictions. What restrictions we have now of not working post 10 and then work needs to start at 7 as BMC restrictions. It was not there that point. Though it's not something that was a noisy work because it was under a contained atmosphere. And yeah, so we ran faster. The strategies were planned. We were, again, I say we were novice. It was by fluke that we completed that one. And because that was the only challenging job that point of time that we had. The rest was going with the pace that usually interior work keeps on going. So whole concentration and planning and strategizing was concentrated towards that particular one project. And that's where we completed, where everybody else was quoting 90 days or 75 days or 4 months. Any customer experience center or show apartments, before we started, nobody probably had tried to do it in 30 days.
Right.
So we are now pioneer of that. Then we set our own benchmark. And then the expectations started rolling in the market. Even the real estate industry is quite small, though it is spread out. Everybody knows everyone. So by word of mouth, it's spread that these are the people. They just complete in 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, and tuck. This is where we are with the 52nd show apartment in 18 months, which God. We have completed in 40-45 days max.
So how does it feel now? This entire shift that you've done in 18 months, how does it feel as a,
See, it went through the process. So it went through up and downs also. There were, because COVID hit in between, that COVID, we mostly started post-COVID only, major of the work. But then the repercussions of COVID, everybody know that were there till 1.5 years, even after that. So working in those conditions was very difficult. Getting things on credit, logistics, these were very difficult tasks. So all these developers, actually, they supported us in terms of no credit.
Okay.
So we used to take almost 70% of the amount they paid us, and we could deliver it on time. So slowly, steadily, we started getting into more processed, because that challenge and the fun part started becoming more exciting and money making.
Yeah, so that is a really good point, and I think that also positioned you as a leader in the market. That 30 days thing when the work spread out, it is a really good thing for the practice to grow and take the practice to another scale. So how do you collaborate with different kinds of stakeholders when you're this is the execution part that we're talking about, 22 days, right? But then there was a design process before that. So how did you manage the entire working with different kinds of third-party vendors and stuff to make this possible?
So principally, when it comes to design board, we don't make 3D renders. Even for the residential, maybe 1 or 2 for the commercials also. Because our 2D presentations are as good as 3D renders. Because 3D renders itself takes 15 days time.
Yeah.
We have turnaround time of making designs and presenting in PPT format is 3 days. Of the entire and working drawings, we make it in 7 days. And 10th day is in our account and we start the work.
Right.
So that is the piece that we need to run when we are doing speed job. We can't be waiting for, and all selections and material selections and everything is done in a day's time. I mean, throughout the process, but taken sign-offs in a day's time. Entire team of developers or a client is there. We take sign-offs. We choose material which is available at that point of time, because availability of material is very, very important. We can't be waiting for something for 20 days. We need everything yesterday.
Okay.
So that's the even our alliances, when we talk of our vendors and all, that is, I think, question is that how the third party help you get. So these are the vendors now. They understand when we say that I need this on 5th of September, means I need it on 5th of September.
So basically, custom made products are out of question here.
No, custom made, we do almost 70% of it custom made. We have developed that ecosystem where we make our own lights, where we make our own furniture, where we make our own, when we curate and keep our own artifacts, plants, planters, all of it that is procured in first week, or the placing of order is done in that first week itself. So at the 40th day, we are ready with everything to set up.
Okay. We are basically ready for the footfall to come in and experience the whole space on the 40th.
So 40th day, so maybe say 45 days of overall project cycle, in which you have 30 days of actual execution, 10 days of finishing, and keeping everything, placement of furniture, artifacts, everything. Then 5 days for snaggings. Obviously, it's a speed job. You can't say everything will be perfect, but it is, I mean, next to perfect. If you say if the space is done up in 6 months, it will be 100% correct. This would be around 98% correct. But most of them are done things. You don't have to really take care of plumbing services or waterproofing of washrooms or something if they are made in house. So the finishing level is as good as how you get it in an apartment. It's a temporary thing. And we don't scale up things. Nothing is me in terms of modular kitchen is modular kitchen, which can be shifted in the actual apartment later. So 70% of inventory of a developer who is invested in it is again reused, recycled, and re-shifted in the actual apartment when the apartment is made. So their investment of 70% is with the depreciation of 30% when they set it up, they do get it. So it's not complete waste.
Understood.
We have our own furniture alliance where we make everything in-house. So we are not dependent on what is available in market. Rather, we take what we want. So it is scaled up. It is made in such a way that it all looks synergy. The synergy is maintained in a way that it comes out really nice. So we have learned it over the period of time. Not that we had learned overnight. After first project, obviously, we were very excited and a little bit overconfident also. But then slowly, steadily, you definitely get into the groove and you see into the mirror and you realize that, okay, it took a lot of toll on everyone because money was flowing, but at the same point of time, it was affecting everybody's health as well. Continuous flow of work, like work popping up as mushrooms, and then you go mad after everything, and then everything starts going out of control because everything requires a strategy, pre-planning, post-planning. So all that we learned over the period of time, and now we are set. Things comes in, it tuck, we finish it, and it's done. It's delivered.
So now you have systems in place.
So we have increased in numbers. Not everything that we can do. We need alliances. We need people. We need our own system in place where everything is channelized, and so we even our QC is done by exterior quality control, so we don't get biased. From the day one, QC team is appointed, which is exterior third party. So anything that is going wrong within the system is pointed out every day.
Nice.
Imagine every day snagging points that come before the work is done is insane.
How does that feel? Somebody else pointing out our mistakes.
It's good because that's the way you make it perfect, like next to perfect. It's for our own thing. Like it is not presented to client. Client even doesn't know that we have appointed such people. It is for getting non-biased to your own work. Yeah, there are certain compromises in speed job that you need to do. So those are ignored. If there are 15 points, 5 points are ignored also. I'm not saying 100% we adhere to what they say. But certain 10 points definitely are taken care of.
Right. Okay, so when we talk about show apartments, right? So for any apartment or any residential project, if the owner of the place is coming to you, the brief is different. And then if a developer is coming to you for a show apartment, the brief is different. So what are some different cues that are different between the two categories? If you can just share them with us.
The most important point is emotion.
Yeah.
So, and dealing with sales team when it comes from a developer, which is going to be a general design,
Hmm.
to be for people to sell
Hmm.
and not. So there are two different aspects where they would want to make it faster. So decisions are quite faster,
Hmm.
and it's on a general taste. It's not anything specific. So briefing comes according to the area, the location, the end buyer. We also do a little bit of study that what is the age group that is going to buying these apartments,
Hmm.
how much is their income, what is their CTC, what would they spend on interiors, how much would they connect to this particular space.
Hmm.
When you come into a show apartment, you should feel like you are in a home. It is just my home.
Yeah.
It
So do
should
you
not be like,
also.
okay, it's too aspirational that it
Hmm.
doesn't connect. So
Hmm.
even if you see styling of our show flats, it's more or less like somebody's living here. You
Hmm.
will find centers which are just pushed down there. There will
Hmm.
be purses which are put there. There are throws and clothes which are hang, which is the recent trend that is going on.
Hmm.
So you try to be as real as if you are visiting somebody's house and you feel that mera bhi ghar hai sir.
Right.
So that's the aspect that you take in care. But when it comes to end user,
Hmm.
if I'm making, if you are a developer yourself, you come to me with an aspirational show flat, and when you sit on that side of the table with me as an end user client, you will be two different people
Hmm.
because your emotions comes into it because you're going to use that space,
Hmm.
your colors, your likings, your comfort level. So these are two different kind of briefing. You also know very well how it works, that
Hmm.
it has to be very very bespoke, tailor made, customized to the level.
But now the challenge with this is that you're creating a show flat for an insane number of audience. And then that one design has to click like this to everyone. Then how does that happen on the design board?
Even if we hit 70% of it, we are good. That's what our calculation and the feedback that comes from,
Hmm.
because almost we deliver on an average at least two show apartments in a month.
Hmm.
Trends doesn't change that faster, but it changes, the look and feel changes from the locations.
Hmm.
The one that I do in Sobo cannot work in maybe in the suburbs.
Right.
There will be a disconnect if I do that.
Hmm.
So uh, if we understand the psychology of the end user who's going to the buyer
Hmm.
and the area,
Hmm.
what is dominating, who is the buyer, that I think we have got neck of it, and even the sales team of that particular area or project helps us out that what will sell. So we present them
That's
different
selling to,
concepts.
basically. Okay, so
Yeah,
do
so we
you find that we are selling to like maybe young family with toddlers or joint families? They have specific requirements that they put in front of you. Is that right?
yes. So when it is sometimes we make even Jodi apartments.
Okay.
So vicinity remains same, but requirements changes.
Hmm.
So in one particular project, we have done Jodi apartment. We do 2 BHK. We do 1 BHK also.
Hmm.
Interiors, the language remains same, but it starts upgrading from 1 to 2 to Jodi.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So if I am going in first apartment also, it the connect is there. Certain elements will precede in that, but then it will start growing in a bigger scale, pricing, all of that. So that disconnect from the audience because psychology of person who is buying 1 BHK or a Jodi apartment is same. For him, that is he is already spending more.
Hmm.
So the weightage is given the same. Design language, essence of design language is maintained same.
Hmm.
Only what changes is the maybe uh, artifact language. Something that is more aspirational goes into Jodi apartment. Something more which is more real goes into 1 BHK. So that is how the connection is formed. The
Right.
understanding the right audience who is going to the end buyer's psychology needs to be very important while doing the show flat. Otherwise, it's a failure. That's the only tool, because all these apartments are not, building is not even up, it's under foundation stage. You are selling it on a ground. So if that disconnect is there, is the only tool that you have. Your collaterals are there. This is going to be a clubhouse, there 3Ds are there. But what physical you see is what you understand.
Right. So when you're working with the developers, I'm sure ROI must be a major part of the discussion, that what we're investing, how do we get most out of it, and budgets also, as it is directly related to ROI. What kind of discussions happen around this?
So generally what happens is they consider overall 3% of the inventory cost as a
More
marketing.
3% of the inventory cost.
Marketing budget. Out of which 2% is the experience budget, 1% is your marketing budget. So that in 2%, sometimes they negotiate 1.5%. If you can pull that back, then we can invest more into more hoardings. So this kind of discussions keeps on happening, where tug of war is between you will make it, but we need more budget. Developer will not give. It is basically between sales team, developer, and us. If they are selling by themselves also, still there is a sales team involved in it. So sales team, marketing team, so everything has its own budget. Collaterals have its own budget. And the first budget that has been taken out, which is a major chunk, is an experience, which is physical experience. So we get the major chunk of it. And then what is... and what is...
Okay, that's good.
So there is always a fight between, a healthy debate between कि नहीं इतना नहीं करना है. If you see high-end apartments, the budget goes up to 16,000-17,000 rupees a square feet also for a show apartment. But there are projects which we also do in 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, depending on what is the overall budget and inventory. A 1,000 crore project will have a good budget because they have to sell more apartments. So it's not, it is just like 40, even people come for 40 flats also. So it all depends on the scale in which the project is and how much is the budget allocated by developer, what is the sensitivity. Okay. It can't be a thumb rule also, because if the pricing of the project is very high, like 25 CR, 30 CR,
right,
then the budget ultimately goes higher even for the low inventory. So that's the criteria of negotiation. Okay. That how much are we going to spend and how much are we getting return? Are we getting return of that? But touch wood, till date, I think 20% of the projects where they didn't work well, 80% worked well. So as I said, if 70%, even in terms of everything, if you average out, liking, feedback, sale, if we achieve 70%, we are good.
Wow.
That 30% will always not like, that 30% will always not come back. That 30% to relate to that particular thing, but that's fine.
I think 70% conversion rate is a good rate.
Yeah, of course. So in certain projects, we are now getting recurring work as individual apartments.
So basically the homeowners are now coming to you.
Yeah.
Even one. Okay, right.
Yeah. So certain projects where we do, which are live projects, which are like up till certain heights and all. Construction is in full swing and possession is mostly in 1 year or 2 years time. In that whole building, probably we are doing 5-6 apartments, not less than that.
Wow.
So it's a recurring business also for us.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that it is more of it's a very small industry, and word of mouth is very strong here. And once a potential buyer likes what they see, they would want to connect to the same person because it is aligned with what they want. And since you said that clicking that vision is one of the most important things, understanding what the potential buyer wants. If you've tapped on the right switch, so it's gonna grow exponentially. All right. Thank you so much, Tushar. It was very insightful. I personally got to learn a lot of things on how you work. And the part where you specifically mentioned how the budget conversations work, I think it's very relatable for anyone who's going to listen to this episode. Budgets are our best friend.
Never have budgets.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. You know
They
that.
never have
Even
enough
if you
money.
have budget, you don't have budget. Bargaining is that's the only very ironical thing that we are the only professionals with whom people bargain. People
Yes.
don't bargain with CA,
Yeah.
they don't bargain with doctors, neither with lawyers.
Yeah.
And yeah, Google is something that even bothering them now because they come with a prerequisite mindset because I come from doctor's family. So I know that very well that they come with a Google search that मुझे ये हुआ है, I need this medicine.
Yeah,
So when that interference has started, but in our industry, the interference is very high level interference.
yeah.
But that's okay. Sailing through is the only option.
I'm wondering when people will start talking to CAs that this is how you're supposed to do my filing.
People have started that also.
Oh my God.
Google is the culprit. I mean, every have things have two sides of coin. Every coin has two sides. So this is what every slowly, steadily AI is coming. So we'll not none of us will go ahead. Robots will probably making those show flats in 20 days.
Yeah, 3D, thanks to 3D printing. Yeah, that will be happening soon. Yeah. Okay. Tushar, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. This is truly, really, really eye-opening for me. And thank you everyone who's listened and tuned into this episode till the very end. Thank you for joining us. And if you want to connect with Tushar himself, I'm going to link his work profile for you to explore in the description of this episode. So do check it out. Okay. The goal of this podcast is to bring real time insights and learnings from the industry straight to your screen. So I hope you learned a lot from this episode. The next episode is going to be just as fun and insightful one. Stay tuned. Bye.